Good evening, ladies. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's book review session. My name is Moralo Nematayeni. I'm based in Thohoyandou in Limpopo, and today we are reviewing Hitting 50 in Style. I am so excited. I just found out that I love short stories because you can read a story and then you're done, and then you move on. But if it's a novel you read and then now you want to go and cook and then you're just like, oh, but what happens in the next page? So short stories for me, number one. So like how we normally do, I will do the opening and then we will give each one of you some time to introduce yourself. So this is your moment to just share anything that you would like to share with the group. If there's something that you want us to celebrate, then you can also share that, and then we can walk this journey together. So, as Empowered Women, we are a registered nonprofit organization working for the rights and empowerment of women. We started in July 2019. So, for the past 5 years, we've been reading books, coming together as women to support one another, and also do away with the narrative that as women, we don't support each other, we don't love each other, we pull each other down. So, in our group, we've been intentional about supporting one another, and also people from this group, they travel across countries and also provinces to support each other on events. So we always encourage people to share about what they're doing. And we've read quite a number of books. I think we're on 55 or 56 ever since we've started. And yeah, so we are excited to be here tonight to do this book review session. I am going to hand over to you guys to take a moment to introduce yourself and then share a bit that you would like to share with the team. I know there's exciting things that have happened in the past month. Others have launched their books, others got promoted, others won cases for their union. Those type of things we want to hear. Others got engaged, others got gave birth to kids. The stories that I hear on the side, I'm just like, yo, it is exciting to be part of this community. So only share what you're comfortable with. And then please note that this is recorded and then we'll share this on our YouTube link. So I'm going to start with you, Busi. If you can introduce yourself, just a brief intro. And then after you, Mama Khadi will go, and then Ondiswa, Rosani, Tami, and then Lina. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Good evening, everybody. It's Busisiwe Ngwenya. I'm an author, a speaker, and now and then I do consult on Triple BE. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, ladies. My name is Mama Khadi Khonodi. I'm a Toastmaster. I work for a union. I am a business owner. I've just introduced a franchise. I'm a franchise owner, so the true business before the franchise that I own is Khadekolo, that is for events, and Zapitori Travel Experience, that is for traveling. And now I've just introduced the Bella Stone, that stones that we cleared on the walls and the pavings. So that is me. I've been part of the ImPower'd Women's Book Club for the past 2.5 years. Thank you. Was I audible?
Yes, you
Yes,
were.
you
That's
were.
why
We
we're
heard.
celebrating. Okay, Ondiswa, Rosani, Tami. Okay, going once, gone. Thank you to the ladies that have done the introduction. I see that Lena wrote on the chat to say that she's greeting from Namibia. She hasn't read the book, but loves coming to this session. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. So on my side, my good news that I want to share is that I've just started a role as a commissioner with the Commission of Gender Equality. So that's one thing that I found or that I'm finding so exciting in my life. And we successfully hosted that GBV program on Saturday as Empowered Women. So that's another exciting thing that has happened in the past week. And I'm looking forward to this particular session. Before we close off the introduction, I know there's someone that would love to introduce herself, and she just joined now. Catherine, please introduce yourself.
Hello, ladies. I'm sorry I'm late. My name is Catherine Peary, and I'm an author of now 5 books. And I'm also a bestseller. My book was read in June, May 16. Lovely to join this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us, ladies. So tonight's session is not going to be complicated. Musi, you know the drill. We're going to hand over to you. Um, you can just take us through the journey of writing, hitting 50 in style. If there's a specific theme that you would like to anchor on, you're most welcome. And then after that, we'll have an engagement and then expand on some of the themes and then ask questions with other stories. And now I've already asked you the one about which one of the stories relates to your real life or real life situations that have happened, and you've already answered that. So over to you, Busi.
Thank you so much, President. Let me show my face, even though my hair is uncombed, but it's fine. Okay, hitting 50. It started with maybe I should start with my writing journey. In 2020, when we were on lockdown, I found myself, because I had just left my job due to burnout. And then we were locked down and I was just at home bored. And I came across this creative writing course for short stories. And I registered for that course. At the end of that course, I had 8 short stories that I had written. And I decided I can't just let them go. Let me do something about them. So I added 2 stories to that and I published. And the bug had hit. So in 2021, I released my second book called Waiting for Me. And then 2023, I released my third book, which is Hitting 50 in Style. I've just released my 4th one, but on Amazon Kindle, I still have to do the print version. How Hitting 50 came about, I was reading about the Tindler story. I don't know if you remember it. I mean, there was this guy who was scamming women on Tindler. And I just wondered, how does it come about? How do you get swindled? And I remember the story about a lady I used to work with who met this guy online. This was before Google, just before Google. And to the extent that she resigned from work and the guy was coming from Bulgaria and they're going to I mean, she was quite adventurous. I don't think I would have done that. And the guy came to South Africa and said he's going to be selling his assets and then they're going to set up home, the 2 of them. When he came, after it turned out that no, man, there was no money here, because when he was talking about selling his assets, she never asked what these assets are worth in South African rands. So the currency in Bulgaria was quite low, much as he had money, but when you translate into South African rands, it turned out to be quite low. And the issue about the apple and tomato sauce, that's where it comes from, because when he arrived, everything seemed to be quite new for him, and she was saying, my friend, this person she eats everything with tomato sauce, everything. But the day he used it on tomato sauce, she was like, "Ah, what clever to Kati, where is it coming from? What kind of life did he live before he came to South Africa?" And then that's when she started looking, just Googling him and all that. So I used both these stories to just look at Sonto, to say there's this woman who's now approaching her 50th birthday, and she has everything that she has ever wanted. And I mean, she can afford to just fly to the Caymans without having to worry about anything. But she felt like there's this thing missing in her life, the companion. And I think what also I wanted to bring across is that at times we're so desperate for companionship that we will drop our guards and just go for anything that looks promising or looks like love. And only later do we start analyzing and assessing to say, but wait a minute, who is this person I'm bringing into my life, into my home, because she had nephews that were living with her, to say, who am I surrounding myself with? Because the guy could have just been a killer from Bulgaria, but in this case with Sonto, it could have been a killer, and we realized this is a scammer who was wanted in his own country. Now, two stories, in fact, three, kind of true to a certain extent. The first story, it's true. It's a true event that happened to me when I was at college. I used to tutor this lady because she were doing accounting, and she was battling with accounting, and she didn't stay far from my parents' home, and she will ask me to come and help her. But after a while, because I'm not a teacher, to be honest, I don't have that in me, and I give up very quickly. So after a couple of weeks of trying to teach her and not getting anywhere, I dumped her, and it seems like it didn't sit very well with her. And when this strike happened at school, apparently she then went around spreading rumors I was not aware of. So there I was at the tap drinking water, and this guy came and said, "Why are you here? They're talking about you at the assembly." I'm like, what are they saying about me? He just said, if you don't want trouble, go and hear for yourself. So the narrative is loosely based on a true story. And then the story about the evilness, also it's loosely based on a true narrative, because what this nurse used to do, I discovered later on, is that she would go to our parents and tell them that your kids misbehaving and up to mischief. And then most of them were fortunate enough that their parents didn't believe it. But my mom, we didn't have that mother and daughter openness when I was in my teens. I'm not sure what happened, because the younger me remembers that we had a very warm relationship. But when I reached my teens, our relationship was strained. So instead of asking me whether what she had said was true, she just took me to allowed her to take me to the clinic. And the events that I narrate there about me then bleeding for 3 months is true. And I had this big tummy, walked around as if I was pregnant. My boobs, which didn't need a bra, all of a sudden were dropping. It's a painful experience to go through when you didn't even know what was happening. So I think I did, though, is I fictionalized it because I wanted to just raise awareness between parents to say, when you take decisions, you need to also think of the effect or impact that they will have. The story is very fictionalized. So all I'm telling there about my dad being a comrade and all that never happened. It's just the true story about is about me being taken to the clinic and being given the Depo Vera injection, which was not suitable for a young person. And then the others, there is this thing called Globe Soup on Facebook. Normally, they will issue out prompts or give you a title to say, write a story about 1, 2, 3. So if you look at the story about the Egyptian, the Pharaoh story, that was a prompt or a title I was given. I'd never written Egyptian history and all that, but then the story just came to me, and I was like, okay, let's just have fun with this topic. Even the one about the cowboys, I had to Google the language of the cowboys and write about the spirit of the dead, where a person goes looking for this money that was lying somewhere, the gold that was lying somewhere. And then the narrative around the girl who was going to be human trafficked. It came out from a story that I had to say at times young girls who will prefer, or somebody you've grown up with will befriend you, and then they'll invite you to say, they invited this young girl to say, let's go out. And the mother was always worried to say, she never goes out, she doesn't have friends. And she said, no, you can go and have fun. Whereas these girls are actually going to human trafficking. So when they take you to these pubs and in bars, they know that you are not families and you'll order Coke, but because they have a relationship with the barman, with the bouncer, and then your drink will be spiked. But not so much that you'll not be able to walk. So you'll still be able to walk, but not have control of your senses. So I started writing a narrative around that, to raise awareness around how at times kids get human trafficked by being sold by a friend or a neighbor. I know I can go on, so maybe let me stop here for now. And if there are questions, I can carry on that. Thank you, Press.
Thank you very much for touching on that. When you were saying that, I was just like, yo, I wonder who has been swindled here, because I'm a daughter, ne? And I love how it's linked to true stories, and we can pick up one or two things from these things. But like I said, my favorite one was around the Mamungomezulu, the nest, because sometimes we get introduced to things because we're not sitting with our parents, or our parents are not sitting with us, and we learn things outside, or things are imposed on us. So it'll be also interesting to hear about this types of stories. And sometimes we do these things ourselves to say varsity, because you're umnandi varsity, but without knowing what will happen to your body as a woman as you're growing up. So there is so many things that one can touch on, but ndizoqala ngokubhala just to read what's written on my book as a note. But what, dear President, meeting you was a game changer in my authorship journey. Keep on nurturing, pushing, supporting, and not giving up on us in the literacy journey. May you enjoy the thrills within these pages. Busisiwe Ngwenya. So thank you very much. Maybe just for people that haven't read the book, as an overview of the book, this is a short stories book. She's written a number of stories which she's made reference to, and it's different things in the books. Some will talk about kindness, where someone was able to call an emergency when there was a flood and the storms, which is something that is relevant looking at what is happening, more especially in the KZN and the Eastern Cape side of things with this current weather. We also experiencing thunderstorms. It's about to rain heavily outside because the wind is blowing. And it just reminds us to be human, to say when you see something, speak up. You might assist someone not knowing who you're assisting, and you might get a reward, but not to say that we must do these things for rewards. And also just on the being human aspect of it, the human trafficking story. Sometimes we do things thinking they are not connected to us. But when this man saw that the child that was being trafficked looked exactly like his daughter that had passed on, then it allowed him to prompt further, only to find out that this is the younger sister. And then now he was then influenced to then do things differently and then stop the human trafficking by involving authorities and then causing a coalition so that the girls could be saved. And it just reminded me of how sometimes when things are happening, we just don't want to get involved because it does not involve us. But as humans, we are interlinked, we are interconnected one way or another. And to say this, from in August with ImPower'd Women, I attended the AMA, which is the All African Movement Assembly in Ghana. And we had people from across Africa, activists, sharing about their journey in activism, the things that they do, people getting arrested because they're coming to this conference because they're always going out, they're always fighting, they're always. And today I wake up and then I read that one of the guys that was there with us, who's based in Kenya, got abducted. And because of what's happening in Kenya, the president and his people, and I'm just like, oh my word, had I not been there, it was just gonna be one of those news that you see, okay, a person got abducted, okay, let's move on with life. But I was sitting with this person in the same room. And then now it just reminds us that no matter how far away things may seem, they're always close to you. So there's different stories that touch on different topics. And I think the ones that stand out are the ones that she has spoken about. So Busi, before I come back to you, I just want to give Catherine an opportunity to share her experience while she was reading this book.
Hello again. um, so I read the book. I think I finished it a week ago or so. For me, it was something new. I'm not used to reading like a series of short stories
Okay.
all in one. So it was very new for me and I loved that. Um, when it started, I was a bit lost. I don't know why for some reason, but then I picked it up. And my favorite story was the one Sondo. Besides that one, my favorite was the one with the ancient history where they go back in time and they're in the time of pharaohs. I loved that. It was outside the box and it was something new. I am someone who loves things that are sort of supernatural, something that someone wouldn't think of. I love it when authors think that far. As much as people will be like, nah, there's no way, but that is what I love, and that story sort of stood out for me, and I loved it. I hope you don't take any offense in this, but I love that someone older, like, usually it's the kids, us, that love that kind of things. But I love that someone older was willing to research and look into that. And then the other story that I really enjoyed was the one with I'm not good with names, oh my god, but the one that sends the child to go get an injection. It was really an eye opener because some parents just be like, this child is going to get pregnant, so they must get on the pill, get on the injection, but they do not have any knowledge of what the pill does to a child or a person in general. So it was really an eye opener to people as me, and also parents, that you should research about those things and see what works for this or that particular age group. So I really also loved that one. And then the other one that really stood out for me was the one with the trafficking, where they traffic children, and then the guy realizes that this person looks like his child. I really love that one also, because it means those people that actually traffic people, they have a conscience. They just choose not to listen to it, because what if that child didn't look like his child, so he didn't care? So it means people care when it's something that is close to them, forgetting that other people also have sisters and children that they miss when they get kidnapped or something happens. So it was really a good something new for me, and I really enjoyed every part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Yeah, just
Catherine.
to comment on the Egyptian story.
Mm-hmm.
That stretched me because I wrote that as part of the Globe Soup challenge. So they give you 7 days and they give you a topic. And they gave me this topic to do ancient Egyptian story. And I was thinking, my God, what do I write about? And then I thought, what if somebody is audacious enough to go back in time and still maybe Pharaoh's, initially it was going to be Pharaoh's go, they were rich, those people, and normally they will bury the king with his riches and stuff. But then I realized the research that you had to go into that needed much longer time than the 7 days I had, and I still have a draft. So one day maybe I'll finish that story about somebody stealing Pharaoh's um, going to Pharaoh's tomb and stealing his wealth and his head. So I changed the narrative to these two audacious young men who dares to go into this known. Well, they didn't know that they were being sent into this guy's the known witch doctor with superpowers, and that he will send them back in time. And I thought, where can I put them in? And I thought it would be nice to send somebody during those 10 days, those 10 plagues that afflicted the Egyptians, and just see how the narrative will work. And that's how the story came about. So thank
Lovely. And it just shows that let's believe that everything that we go through has already been written. I thought it was pretty cool when they said, oh yeah, this is gonna happen next. This is gonna happen next. And I was just like, it'll be interesting if we have someone that can just say, Malalo, tomorrow you are going to town. This is going to happen. And then this is gonna happen on
you.
Wednesday. Though we try to plan our lives, but I enjoyed that part. You keep on saying that they had given me 7 days. Who's there so that not to see us niggas or 7 days?
There is this site on Facebook. It's called Globe Soup. So if you are into writing, especially short stories, you can join in, and then they give us topics and they give us,
What's the name?
and then
What's the name?
Globe Soup,
What's the name?
like Globe, the Globe,
Globe.
GLOBE, the Globe. Yeah,
Okay. Soup. Like
soup,
one.
like in soup, like normal soup that you drink. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Globe soup. Okay.
Yeah. So every month they give us they call it micro. So a micro is when you write a story that's like 100 words, like very short. It's 100, and it's either a poem or a story, but it's flash fiction. They call it flash fiction. It's 100 words, and that's it. So it stretches you as well, because as authors you want to write and write and write. So when you're doing flash fiction, you have to do 100 words and that's it. Your story must still be tight. That also brings a new dimension to your writing. And then now and then every quarter we get topics, and they give you a genre. So a genre could be crime, could be thriller, could be like this month I was doing coming of age. So this quarter I got a topic to write about coming of age, out of age, or of age, whatever they call it. So I had to write something like that, and then they give you get a topic on your genre on Monday. The following Monday you should be done and handed in by 9 o'clock in the morning. So it also like forces you. Some of us you like I'll finish this next week. So this actually forces you to sit and think about, strategize and write and come with the topic and be done with the story within 7 days. And then now we're writing another one where you have to do up to 8,000 words. So whatever you write, it's up to you. This one closes in December because it's a longer story. These ones are usually like 2,000 words. But afterwards, what I do is that I sit and add to the story, because I've found 2,000 words is short if you're doing even though I'm doing short stories, but it's a bit short. So I usually go back to the story and add to the story to make it a bit more meatier.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. We wouldn't have known about Hope Soup, even though now going to Facebook, I see that you share these things. But with people, like how Catherine was saying, familiarity. When someone shares something that you heard about, now you can go check it out, because when we don't know what it is, it's just like, oh, there's that, and then we move on with life. Mama Khadi, if you'd like to come in and share your experience of the book. And if you've got any questions to the author, you're most welcome to pose them. Rudzani Kashane.
Hello.
Our celebrity.
Oh, I should share my experience. Murado,
Yes, if you can share your
can
experience
you hear
with the
me?
book.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear
No,
you.
for me the book was the book was quite interesting. I thought my mic was still muted for a second. Yeah, the book was quite interesting for me. But the most that stood out for me, because once I read, each story stood out for me because each story is unique in its own way. But the atonement one, the one for the father and daughter, I was hoping for quite a sweet reunion, but the way it ended, at least he saved there. The obsession one, I can go on and on. I enjoyed these short stories for someone that's quite used to reading fiction novels that are quite long. It was quite a new experience because these are quite short and you quite enjoy and leave you wanting for more. So I enjoyed your book. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just to say, with the obsession, there's a part that's actually a true story. I mean, the story is fictionalized, but the part where the incident happens at the church service, it's something that actually happened to me, where I told this guy that I'm going to an Easter service, and the next thing he's calling to say, where are you? I'm like, but I told him I'm going to a service. And every hour my phone will be buzzing. Every hour my phone will be buzzing, and I could not understand what was this. And yeah, there were other interesting things, but then I fictionalized the whole story. But that part I just felt I needed to bring that in because it kind of made me realize what kind of a relationship I was in, and that I needed to get out of it quite quickly. And at times I think we stay in certain relationships for quite longer than we should have until you get killed or until you read about somebody being stabbed or whatever. But the signs are usually there. And for me, that was the sign to say, but what kind of individual is this that will be parked outside my home when I'd mentioned that I'm going to be at church and I'll be doing this service. So my phone will be buzzing every hour. Are you still there? Are you still there? I'm waiting out here. But why am I waiting there? Because I'm at church and I told them either come and join me or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, I remember the story, and now I'm just thinking, has anyone ever had someone obsess over them? Ningaphenduli lana if you don't want because this is recorded. But now I'm interested
Okay,
to hear those
so
stories. Yes, Catherine.
I I have a story. So I think I was 19, and then I was dating this boy, or should I call him a man, who he was just in the 20s and he was a hacker. You know, those people who does this hacking things. So one day we were in church and then he held this other brother's phone and saw this other brother talking to a girl named Catherine. So I don't know what he did, but I think he hacked that guy's phone so that he can see his messages. So he keeps seeing messages. This guy talking to this Catherine. I don't know what they were talking about. And like when he came to me, he didn't want to hear anything. He was like, "You are mine. I told you that you're mine. How can you be talking to another guy? This guy is talking to a Catherine." And then I was like, "Did you check the number? Because if that person is a Catherine, it doesn't mean anything. They could be any, but he didn't want to listen. He hacked my phone. He would see every moment. Where are you? I want to know where you are. Ngicela video call. Tell me where you are. Are you leaving? Are you there?" And it was constant obsession. You be like, "Hey, well, this person." Even when you're at home, like I'm at home with my parents, like video call. I want to see where you are. And it was really a lot. And I was so young. I was like, "Hi, Bo, Lomun." I was like, "I'm done with you. I am done. Like, let's break up. Like, you're not leaving me." You know, those things that we read about, like, "You're not leaving me."
Mm.
I had to leave the country. I didn't come here on my own. I had to leave home and come here and be like, I'm running away from this person because he was so obsessive. Like, hey, even when I came this side, he was like, you are mine. I'll find you there. I was like, hey, bro, like, what? How can you be so obsessed with someone to an extent where, like, you cannot breathe with them? Like, I don't even know why I didn't write this down as a novel because wow.
I will be waiting for that particular novel. It's quite scary, and I know some of us are still going to face that in future. So maybe if we also just find out what should one do, because I know with us the police is always the first stop where you get the protection order, and then you make sure that there is sufficient protection that you're receiving, and then at least people know what's going on should anything go wrong. Juliet, I saw that you had unmuted. You can come in.
Yeah, yes. I was just wondering whether, thank you. I was just wondering whether that's actually obsession or typically those are the kind of like signs of violent killers who are abusers and basically they're like insecure, controlling, and basically abusive. I don't think it's, I mean, like, I say, like, I wouldn't even say it's love.
No, it's definitely not. Or if it is, it's quite it's obsessive love, where it goes beyond. Love is kind. It's this and that and that. But this goes with, as you say, with control. With a person is insecure in themselves, and then they hold on too tight. You can't even go anywhere without reporting to them because yeah. So it goes to, and at times it might not be physically abusive, because at times we think a person is abusive when they are physical, but it can be emotional. And the emotional abuse is worse than the physical, because you cannot show, you cannot show it to people, but you are living through it. I know exactly what Catherine is saying. Where
Hello. Hi, Busisiwe.
hello, yes, I don't know,
Okay,
Malala, am I?
okay. Anyway, but sorry, I had a question for Busisiwe.
Yes.
First of all, thank you very much. I've not read the book, but I think I just have to buy it. Is it available on Kindle?
Yes, it is. I'll post again the link to the book on the group.
Okay.
Just now.
I think
Yes.
listening to you, I'm like, okay, well, I think I missed a good thing. I just wanted to know, why did you choose hitting 50 and not 40? Why did you choose 50? Oh, there
Because
is
I'm in
more
my
hope
50s.
in the 40s than in the 50s.
No, yeah. Okay, maybe when I approach my 50s, my 40s, ne? And this is a true story. I had not planned to have kids at all. And when then I fell pregnant just before I turned 40. I had my daughter at 38. So when I hit 40, I had a 2-year-old. I was not excited about my 40th, to be honest. So for me, my 50th was the best experience birthday ever. And which is why when the Tindler story approached, and I had this story in mind, it just made sense to have this woman being a 50-year-old who was just getting her groove back. Yeah, that's
Okay,
that's all
thank
I can
you.
say. Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
normally when you reach 50, it's like you have reached you it's done with you. For me, it was like no, no, no. For me, that's when life started again making sense.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I just also wanted to just add in that it may not just necessarily be those who are searching for love, like who have never been, in marriage, but like there are also people who've lost, like maybe divorced or separated, or like myself, I just lost my husband suddenly after just being married for 3 years. There is just that, moment where you lose yourself, and yeah, I keep reflecting, I keep asking myself, is that me? Like, really, is this worth it? And yeah, thanks for that. I mean, yeah, it's been nice listening to you, and yeah, uh, reflecting on
Yeah,
such
no,
stuff. Thank you.
we don't give hope. I've always said in my life I'll never get married, but now I feel like when I turn 60, I want to get married. So I'm like, I understand now what the kind of man I want in my life, and I know what I want to bring to a marriage, and I understand what it should be like, what it should feel like, because I've gone through all this. So I'm telling you, when I turn 60, I know that's what's going to happen to me. I'm gonna have this bells and
It's in my
whistles
bridesmaids.
happening.
Just that you come in, I'm like, we are the bridesmaids. Are you followed? So,
So now I must find this man before I turn 60.
hey, you're the one that wrote the book, Hitting 15 Style. Now you're like, I
Yeah,
must find this
so
man. Okay.
yeah, so I'm just saying to Juliet, oh, by the way, condolences on your loss, but I think we what is the word I'm looking for? They say even in marriage, every 7 years you need to be renewing your vows, because most people the 7 year each hits. So that's when you get renewed again and you find yourself again. So every 7 years a human being gets reborn again. So you had that moment with your husband, you will find another. If it's meant to be, you will find another one that you'll be reborn again with. And it's nice to find somebody that you'll, if you get married, that you'll get reborn with every 7 years as you grow and find yourselves again, because we are forever moving as human beings, and we're not static. And at times you find somebody who you meet them this year, 12 years later, they are still standing at the same place. And when you get reborn and you get revived, they don't move along, and then they get frustrated because it's like you're leaving them behind, and they frustrate you because they want to stay in that same space and they're comfortable in it.
Some wisdom being thrown here and there. I had no idea about that. Now I started calculating and I'm like, okay, 2 more years and then I get reborn. Okay, that's quite
Good
interesting.
revelation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mama Khadi,
Well
we have
said.
not heard from you because you read my book a long time ago.
Sis Musa, I did not read your book. I only read chapter 1. Yes, I know. I bought it a long time ago. I read chapter 1, and it was, I could not, how do I say this? It was that chapter, the very first chapter was so fascinating. Unfortunately, I had some other school books to study. When you've got some books competing with what you want to read. So I only read chapter 1, but immediately after I read the whole book, I will definitely be on the lookout. You'll hear me. We need to organize that session again, and we'll talk more about it on a physical platform.
Definitely, and I see Ubito is here, so she's listening. Hey, Busi. I think she's on mute. Yeah, so
Who
but
is that?
now
Sorry. Oh,
Busisiwe.
oh, okay.
Yeah, the other
Who
Busisiwe.
said? Go out in style. The one with the cat. Because when I was reading that book, or that story, I read and then I didn't pick up that it's a cat. And then moments later, I was like, okay, let me go back and start again now that I've found out that it is a cat. And I love how you narrated the issues of witchcraft because I think most Black people, Black families, people go through that in villages where you just hear stories and also the funeral parlors. I think in my community, there's about two or three that I see being built next door. And if you can just, I just saw the comments, um, someone saying that going out in style freaked me out. Yeah, can you just take us through that story?
Okay. I think with this story, my brain was having fun, but I don't know whether in a good way or bad way, but because the story started as something else, and I suppose Catherine and Rudzani can attest to this, that at times when you start writing, you have an idea of what you want to write about. And then the characters just, I don't know, they take over, and all of a sudden the story moves in a way that is like, oh, I didn't see this, but you just let it flow. Because initially, what brought this along, I remember that when we were growing up, especially older women, I don't know in other places, but here, Ekasine, these older women will be living in this house and she's all alone, and to be maybe dark, there will be no children, and then there'll be these rumors to say, and she will have cats. So these rumors to say, Mola Baloya, why is she all alone and why is she living with cats, especially cats? You could have dogs, 100 dogs, no one would care. But there's just something about cats and Black people, and if it's Black, it's even worse. It's like, yeah, no, she's now on another level. And if somebody doesn't like you and they can spread a rumor to say you are into witchcraft and they've seen you do 1, 2, 3, or kids went into your home and have disappeared, no one have seen them, even worse. Now in our street, we had a mortuary just pop up, and a couple of months later, kids were disappearing, and there were rumors, two rumors. One, it was like, no, this guy, because he's not making business at the time, he's stealing these kids, doing whatever he's doing with them. And then if there's somebody who goes to say, pardon me, but this was rumors that used to fly around in the township to say, when people go to Moria during Easter, I think now they go also in September, but then it used to be Easter. When they go to Moria, then kids will disappear. But these were just township. Yes, yes, yes. I'm you know, and that's how then the story. Because I remember this, that it would be so cold this one year, just very cold, and it would be so quiet. And then the next thing we'll hear that these kids have disappeared, and then it was, I don't know, they've taken them to Moria. No, it's the mortuary guy. And then I remember the story about this woman who did not like cleaning, was so lazy. It was another story that made the rounds around the township kids. That she was so lazy that one day she was looking for a shoe or something underneath her bed, and she thought she saw a human being or a tokoloshi, and she came out running and screaming. And when the men came to check what was happening, they discovered it was just dust that had accumulated over years because she was not cleaning. So so the brain just use all these narratives, and the story came about to say this particular not, the villagers there were really like giving a hard time, so they sent this person, but in a cat form, to then her former deceased husband and because they knew that evil lurked around, and that might happen to her.
Quite interesting. Catherine, I see your hand.
So I saw Busi saying there's always that one house in the township. So is that one house that everybody just suspects they do something. And then it just reminded me of a story. There's this house where it has so many, just there's this rumor that goes around that the grandmother that stays there is a witchcraft. So the other day I was passing by with my sister's child. He's 5 or 6. He's like, "Ugogwa lapha uyaloya." And then the lady is just there. She picks out, she's like, "Uthini?" So I've just thought of it when we were talking about it, that everybody just assumes that that one house someone performs witchcraft for some reason that we don't know.
Yeah, also there's this thing in especially in the townships. If somebody, because you've got people who are introverts and they just prefer their own company. And if you're not like going around, visiting neighbors, just minding your own business, people want to know what's happening with you, and they'll start rumors around you. And if they have a thing for you, then you might end up in trouble just because somebody just didn't like you, or because you just mind your own business. So these are the things we saw, and it's like we need to talk about these things because they still happen, unfortunately, in some areas.
I'm not even gonna turn on my video. I'm like, my face. That's why I didn't even comment. I was just like, Catherine's hand is up. I went to hear to Gwenzayalan next door. But thank you, ladies, for sharing, and also to you, Busi, for giving us this short story collection, Getting 50 in Style. Oh, girl, wear jackets and the struggles with siblings.
Yeah.
Is that a true story?
No.
I wanted it to
No,
be
that one is not a true story.
I wanted it to be true.
Serious.
Yeah,
Why?
because there's different ways of raising kids, and I love how they decided to be tough on the last born, because most people that are born from rich family are spoiled, and they can't do it themselves. They can't use their brain cells. But her having to toughen up, having to work um, her way, and also um, them buying a jacket instead of giving her money for the studies and having to work towards that. I think at the end, it was such a beautiful revelation to say everything that we did was to protect you. Because sometimes you look back at own childhood and you're like, yo, my parents were strict. But when you look back and then you see people that are the same age as you, the things that they do, some have even passed on. And then when you ask, oh, that one, no, he was drunk driving and then Shoni, or this has happened, but it's things that were caused by their own doings. So it makes one appreciate and also want to tighten the hand a bit to ensure that you are protecting your own child, and also help them know the importance of hard work. So I really enjoyed that story. I'm gonna buy a jacket and store things in it.
Yes, please, let's do that. Now, I can't even remember how that story came about, to be honest, because most of the time I remember how most stories start or what inspired the Tasi story and the mink coat. For the life of me, I don't know what inspired that, but the way it panned out. I liked it because, as you say, generally parents tend to be very strict with the older siblings, and as they get down to the younger ones, the hand then becomes loose. Um, and with these ones, because they had a relatively good life, they overcompensated with their kids, and by the time they got to class C, I think they had realized that, oh my goodness, we need to change the way we're doing things, otherwise it was just going to be downhill for all the kids. And she's the one who came out stronger and more independent than the rest of the crew, which I guess big up to the parents that when that they could see how things were turning out, and then they changed their parenting style with the last one. Unfortunately, I think it also brought in a bit of resentment, because you can see how they are treating the older siblings, and instead of paying for your school fees, the mother spends money on a mink coat. I think that can be devastating, but fortunately she got to understand later on why they had to do things the way they did. Yeah.
Sure. Really enjoyed those stories. And thank you. I asked on the group if there's anyone wants to do the thank you remarks. I'll just go through the announcement now, and then we'll hand over to one of the ladies just to close for us. And before I do that, some might not have the opportunity to go and globe soup, but I love the concept, and I think it will be a good start for some of us that want to write, but we're like, okay, where do we start? Um, it's just a proposal that came to mind to say maybe we could do something next year to say, okay, let's start writing something for ourselves. So it could be a prompt that we send once a month and then say, hi, write something around this, and then someone um, gets to write, and then when we have these moments, we can then share about what we wrote and put together our short stories. I think we should be able to get a few stories that we can say, okay, for January, these are the stories that we wrote. For February, these are the stories that we wrote. It will be an interesting journey. But all in all, ladies, thank you for being here. The announcement that I have is that in November, we're reading A Perseverance Journey by Dr. Rutendo Rinasingo. So we're going to do our review a bit differently next month. Those that are this side in Pando and Limpopo, and also people that are in Joburg, when I gallivant, I've got 3 copies with me of her book. It's 200 Rand. And she will also share the details on the WhatsApp group if you would like to order the book. And then you can reach out to her and then place the order. So why I say that we'll do the review differently is because she cannot hear. She's deaf, so we won't have a book review session that would be online, but we will do it on the WhatsApp group. So on the day of the book review, we will share about our experiences of the book. Since some people might not be able to share on that particular Sunday, I'd propose that every Sunday we have that discussion, keep the group open to say how you're finding the current read, and then if there's anything else that one wants to share in line with perseverance, resilience. I've read a few chapters of the book and I was just like, oh my word, I've got a dissertation that is sitting because of my own doing, but other people struggle to push through because I'm a supervisor and head of departments. So I think it'll be a very interesting one, and also linked to Nwadika Catherine Peary, the one that we read last year. Was it November or December? Bestowed by the gods, where at the end we asked each other to say, back then women were not allowed to study. women were not allowed to do a lot of things, but now we are allowed to study. So what are we studying? And when she takes us through her journey of the PhD, I think it will also prompt us to say where we are. Are we comfortable? Do we want to push further? And some of us might end up registering for a new course or furthering up our studies. So I think it's going to be an interesting journey that we go through in the next month. As always, the book review session next month we'll do every Sunday, but the main Sunday for the review would be last Sunday, which is the 30th is Saturday, the 24th of November. Yes, so we will chat and then continue with that. Anyone that would like to come in and do our vote of thanks to Busisiwe? Catherine, Juliet?
Okay. I can, if you can let me do off video.
Yes.
Okay. What can I say? I've been going through stuff, and like I said, I've been on and off. I do some reading, and then I fall off. But like today, again after a couple of months, I just felt like I think I need to just to connect in and see how this hitting 15 style can be like. I've been inspired. And what I can say to Busisiwe is that your writing, I think, has been very impactful, and it is impacting lives, even if people may not speak it. I think from picking, stories of what you are, those short stories, and the fact that a number of them are being drawn from your practical experiences makes people resonate with it. I mean, I was hiding myself because I'm already in my night lying in bed. I was lying in bed. Yeah, so yes, I'm saying that it touches lives. I was just thinking about how you can just think about things when you're describing the the bit about Egypt and what's so like bringing the biblical perspective and then the reality of what is on ground at present. And I was just thinking, okay, writing is an art, it's a gift, and I'm honestly looking forward to what you just said in at the end about what you may introduce for next year. I think, yeah, challenge us to also try and see if we can discover ourselves through writing. I remember when I was just going through the moment of grief after losing my, husband. I just kept writing stuff, and friends would say, "Oh, Juliet, I think you can be a good writer." And I'm thinking, okay, these are just things that are just falling in my head at this moment. I'm writing, and like, being thoughtful to say, I start writing. And now we have Chat GPT. We just give instructions and it generates us stuff. I think we need to just get back to, yeah, I'm looking forward to that challenge of saying, yeah, let's write about something. Otherwise, I would say keep on keeping on. I've been blessed. I believe there are many other people who've been blessed. And for Mulalo,
My ex sister.
yes, you are empowered, and yeah, this idea also was one of a kind. You keep inspiring us. even just from seeing the initiatives that you do, like how you go out there to the communities to do those projects. We are inspired. Some of us started on stuff, and along the way, like we lost track, we lost the energy, we are picking back, again, and all this is inspiration. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Busi. Any last words, and then you can do the good night.
Now, Juliet is a narrator. After she spoke, I feel like I should just say Kilagaleo, because anything I say now will spoil what she's just said. So thank you so much, and thank you for consuming my work. And looking forward to reading stuff that's still to come from the ladies. And thank you for your time. Have a great evening and a great week ahead. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
Bye-bye.
ladies.